Will you circumcise your future children? Why? I had a child recently and did not. It was an oddly really hard decision. I'm circumcised. My dad is circumcised. It's the normal thing to do where I'm from. Unrelated to religion. I understand. Circumcised. So, I hadn't really thought about it, but was fully expecting to circumcise my son. And then I had him. And he was premature. And spent weeks in the NICU. Healthy. Just early. I spent 10 to 12 hours every day with him at the hospital. And I don't know. I felt so lucky to have him. And have him be healthy. The thought of inviting that pain. And that immediate risk, admittedly vanishingly small, by getting him circumcised, was just too much. So I'm not sure how rational or irrational a decision it ultimately was. I just could not will myself to make the decision to do it. I did read up on the debate, but that didn't lead me to feel strongly that it was right or wrong. 8. Never had a comment blow up like this. Thank you. It's a very strange phenomena. I never expect replies or upvotes. And barely get them. You get used to just sharing your microcosmic drivel because it's what we humans seem to need to do. And then, suddenly, the Reddit gods decide it's your day. And you get a billion upvotes and replies. But tomorrow they'll decide something else for me. And I'll live in the shadow of this one great day. When I felt like a very minor celebrity or something. I'll try to resist the urge to chase it. I am an American living in Sweden. I was circumcised at birth as that was the norm. When we found out my wife was pregnant, it was a long discussion about whether we should do it or not. In Sweden you can get your child circumcised but not at the hospital they are born at. You have to do it within a certain period of time at another location. I remember worrying about what my family would think if we didn't do it. And that I myself wasn't upset with my parents' decision to do it without my consent. But the more I thought about it, I realized the only reason I would be doing it was so he would look like me and wouldn't be judged by my family in the US. We decided not to put him through that and honestly was the best decision looking back. Break the cycle. And #X200B. Edit. It seems like a lot of the people commenting here haven't had kids. My 2-year-old runs around naked all the time. Add to that diaper changes and baths. I knew they would see it eventually. I admit it's a dumb reason to consider circumcision, but breaking through norms that you grew up with your whole life isn't easy. When I think about it today I wonder how I even considered it, but before he was born that was all I knew. Ordinarily my answer would be, a dick is not a bonsai tree, and never even consider it. And I'm from the UK so it's not a common thing. However, my partner had an adult circumcision after a lifetime of living with a really painful condition. I believe it's phimosis and BXO. And turned out both his dad and his granddad needed the same procedure. As teens, adults, I remember him screaming in agony when he got morning wood the day after the op and having to call 111 after one of the stitches came loose in the bath and it was pissing blood. It was horrible. That's not to say that I would definitely cut our hypothetical son, but I think I would leave it to my partner and do a bit more research as there is a strong genetic trend here. Ordinarily, without any good medical reason I see no point in it. Definitely not. I'm not from the US or cultural background that sees it as normal. So I just find it weird on so many levels. My husband is circumcised. Not common for our age group where we are. When our son was born, I left it up to him because as the non-owner of a penis, I felt I was not best placed to make the final decision. Although I was certainly involved in the education that preceded his decision. Initially, he planned to, because he felt it was cleaner, and removed any possible future complications of still having a foreskin, in particular phimosis, inability to retract foreskin, which he was most worried about. He also had this, "my son should be the same as me" thing, which he quickly shed after I pointed out that he is actually quite upset about the scar he has from his circumcision. He asked his friends, who scoffed at his unclean assumption. Basically, if one cleans under their foreskin, it won't be dirty. And I did some research. We established that while you can't eliminate the risks altogether, by teaching our son from a young age how to check his penis retracting foreskin and gentle cleaning, that we could instill lifelong habits that hopefully mitigate the risk and avoid the discomfort of having the procedure when just a newborn unable to decide that for himself. In fact, my husband is now quite happy that we decided not to, as he reflected on his own youth and felt different to his friends as none of them are circumcised. And he is happy that our son can avoid that social stigma. I'm happy that we didn't do an irreversible procedure on our son that he had no say in.